was in December of 1965. Flew in from Okinawa to Da Nang. I was told that I would be going out in support of 2-9, held on a helmet, 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines. We were going out on an operation. It would probably be 5 to 7 days. We were taken to the LZ and we were loaded on H-34s. We flew up into the Quezon Mountains. The next day we fell in line and moved out with the whole battalion. They were on Operation Harvest Moon. And they'd been out for about 10 days, I believe. About the 3rd or 4th day, I heard some rounds go off. And I didn't think too much of it. We're coming down out of the Quezon Mountains on the 18th of December. It's probably going to be the last day of the operation for us. A couple of the companies were in the village of Kifu. Now, hotel company was the rear element, the security element, the tail end Charlies. And as we're coming across a dike, the ambush was triggered. The fog of war set in at that point. They were well entrenched, well camouflaged. 3 companies had passed through that area, and the initial round that triggered our ambush hit Captain Gormley, mortally wounded him, and killed radio operator Savoy. Of course, they're downed. The enemy knew what the hell they were doing, and it was hellacious. There were more rounds going off, mortar rounds, RPGs, machine guns. I hit the deck. But when I looked around, I see all these young Marines looking at me. I'd only been with them 4 days. They didn't know my name. I had a silver bar on my collar, and they're looking at me, okay, Lieutenant, what the hell are we going to do? We're in a ham sandwich here. The first thing that I did is get together with Iconato, my radio operator. We contacted the battalion FDC and told them what was going on. And we came up with a couple fire missions. To our right flank, there was machine guns dug in. And they had us pinned down. The first fire mission I called was in on that trench line. The first rounds, we took some shrapnel in our position. I said, oh, God. All of a sudden, I see company corpsman running by me, Doc West. And he hollers, the skipper's down, the skipper's down. Well, I look out there, maybe 50 yards, and I see a pile of people, Marines. Doc West got shot a couple times getting out there. The next thing I see, my scout sergeant, McLean, jumps up, and he runs out to protect the corpsman. He got shot 2 or 3 times. Now I got the corpsman down, my scout sergeant's down, the company commander's out there, and the radio. But we still had those damn machine guns over there. We had to cope with that. I turned the radio over to Iconato, so he was calling in the fire missions. I ran out, and I picked up Captain Gormley in my arms, and I carried him back. And we talked. He's pretty well shot up, and he died in my arms. That's a hell of a feeling when you're laying there and you got your company commander in your arms, a man you've only known for 3 days. But I felt like I'd known him forever. Why I didn't get hit, the good Lord, he had other things for me to do that day. I went out and I took the radio off of Savoy, and then I called the battalion. I told them about the company commander dying. I says, I'm assuming the commander of this company. And every one of the platoon commanders was in their own firefight. We're pinned down. That damn machine gun over there was tearing us up. So I mounted a counterattack. And the first fire team that I sent up there, we're going to fire and maneuver. Got shot up. Being in command was a tough job. Just got 4 Marines wounded. And I turned to the next 4 and say, okay, it's your turn. Well, I realized that this fire maneuver was not going to hack it. Well, we mounted a charge, and I led it. I didn't say go get them. I said follow me. And I took off, and they were right behind me. You got to be aggressive, tenacious. You know, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly bear. We took out that machine gun. I think the PRC-25 saved our lives. By listening on that net, everybody knew what was going on. By listening on that net, I knew that we were up against a large force. As it come to find out, it was 10-1. General Platt came up on that net. He said, Hotel 6, I got 2 armed helicopters up here. Can you use them? I said, you're damn right I can. He turned them over to me. So then I was talking to the two helicopters, and I controlled their fires. And the first thing I did is I went up on this little knoll, and I took a 3.5 rocket launcher, which was a bazooka, with white phosphorus, Willie Peter rounds. Well, the first ones I went at is the rest of that trench line. And I fired a Willie Peter in there, and then the pilots came in and hit those targets. Either I ran out of Willie Peter rounds or the weapon malfunctioned, and I stood up on the knoll, and I pointed my arms at the targets, and I told the pilots, you fly down the axis of my arms, and you'll find the target. You know, I got enemy on both sides of me. Left them on my right, and in the rear, and they're closing in on me. The battalion commander says, you're gonna have to come out. He says, we're in one hell of a fight. All companies are engaged. I can't come get you. So if you don't come out, you're on your own. Well, I knew staying there that night, there wouldn't have been enough body bags in the morning to take us out of there. I had to figure out how the hell to get out of there. I called in and told the people in the 3 in the village of Kifu, you can't come get us, but you can set up a base of fire, and then I'll start across. The first fire team goes, and then the second one hops over and sits down, he's shooting, and then the leapfrog. The incoming we were taking, I knew it had been St. Patrick's Day before we'd have got across there. So I told the squad leaders and the platoon commanders, we're gonna go squad at a time, run as fast as you can. There was one path across, and it was deep. I mean, the water was deep. I said, the only time you stop is if a Marine gets shot, and you pick him up, because we don't leave anybody on the battlefield. I say go, you run as fast as you can until you get in there with the 7th Marines. I think we caught the enemy off guard. They didn't think we'd do something like that. You got to be innovative on the battlefield and take advantage and do what you got to do. War is horrifying. It's not glorifying. You know, there was no future in us staying there that night. I was the last one out. Myself and Ike and Otto. We came out together. The hard part was with the gunny, going over the list of those that were wounded and evacuated and those that got killed. I think that was the realization to me of what combat and leadership and command is all about. I broke down. I'll admit it. It got to me. And then I wondered if some of those weren't hurt because of decisions I made. See, that was my biggest concern, is that I'd make the right decision at the right time for the right reason, and that it was a good decision. I didn't know that the next day it'd be all over. What everything I've said here so far is not about me. It's about the team. And as I said, I've worn this medal now for 56, 57 years now, in honor of the great Marines and the phenomenal Navy corpsmen that I got to lead on the field of battle that day in 1965.